In this video, we're going to be discussing how to convert measurements, specifically measurements of temperature from Fahrenheit to Celsius or Celsius to Fahrenheit, and then also a quick review of a few of our measurement topics from dimensional analysis and also within the metric system. So starting off with Celsius to Fahrenheit. If you look on your reference sheet that you've been provided, you'll notice that there's a temperature conversion formula listed there, and so we'll be using that temperature conversion formula in this work. In the first example, we're going to be converting 34 degrees Celsius over to Fahrenheit. And so the Celsius temperatures tend to be lower numbers for equivalent temperatures as they have in Fahrenheit. So let's start with the formula. And the formula we've seen is F equals 9/5 C plus 32. So a little bit of structure in this formula. You can see that to get to Fahrenheit, the order of operations tells us to take our Celsius temperature, multiply it by 9/5, which is a fraction that's larger than 1. So we're going to be making this Celsius temperature larger. And then on top of that, we add 32 after we do that. So let's go ahead and substitute and solve. So we're starting with our given of 34 degrees. That's going to replace C in our formula. When you do formula work, it's all about order of operations. So we have 9/5 multiplied by 34 plus 32. You can type this all in one step in your calculator by simply typing 9 divided by 5 times 34 plus 32. And you'll see it comes nicely to the number 93.2. In our next example, we're going to be converting in the opposite direction of what we just did. And so you'll notice though on your reference sheet, we only have the one formula. So I want to show you where the second formula is going to come from. So we'll do a little bit of algebra over here on the side, and feel free to write this new formula down even on your sheet. That'll be fine. But I want to show you how it works. So we start with our formula F equals 9/5 times C plus 32. And I believe it's written with parentheses, even though that's either way. And so what we want to do is we want a formula that's going to produce this degrees Celsius for us. So what I'm going to do is a little bit of algebra with you and show you where this formula is going to come from. We're going to try to solve for C in our formula. So I'll make it red. Okay, and so what we want to do is we're going to work backwards from C and see what goes on. So the plus 32, order of operations would say add 32 last. So I'm going to subtract the 32 from both sides. And what that gives me is F minus 32 equals 9/5 multiplied by our C that we're trying to get to. Now the next step is to make this fraction 9/5 go away. One way is to say divide by 9/5, but with fractions, it's very nice that you can multiply by the reciprocal, which is the same as dividing. We're going to multiply both sides by 5/9. And notice that's going to cancel on the right, leaving me with C equals. And this 5/9 needs to multiply the expression that we just formed earlier, F minus 32. So that goes in parentheses. So our formula for Celsius is C equals 5/9 times the difference of F minus 32. So according to order of operations, what's that means is we start with our Fahrenheit temperature. First, we subtract the 32. Then we multiply by the 5/9. You can also put it all in your calculator at once. So let me show you. 5/9. And let's substitute for F 55 degrees. So 55 minus 32. If you do this by parts, you would say, okay, well, I'm going to simplify the parentheses first. 55 minus 32 is 23. So our result is going to be 5/9 times 23, which would give you our answer of 12.8. which actually, sorry to say, it rounds to 12.777777, and it would round to 12.8. Now I'm going to bring up my calculator because I want to just show you that you don't have to go in steps on this. Let's see if I can make this a little bit smaller and move it. Okay. So on my calculator, we could type this formula right here before we did any simplifying. So you can type in 5 divided by 9, open a parentheses, 55 minus 32, and then close the parentheses and press enter. And there's your 12.777777. And so it would round to 12.8. So feel free to use the power of that calculator. And whether you have a scientific or you have the TI-84, you have the ability to use parentheses, which is a very, very helpful thing when it comes to formula work. And I think, so the next example I want to do is I want to just do a quick review of some conversions for us between metric and the US system. So I just picked a couple of, let's just look at a couple. This is to remind us of factor label method. So we have a given here of 8 liters, and we want to convert that to gallons. So remember how we set it up is we put 8 liters over 1, and then what we need is a conversion between liters and gallons. So I'm going to go to my conversion chart, and there's a table for equivalents of American and metric. I'm going to volume, and I want something with liters and gallons. And we saw the other day, there's 2 directions of how these are set up. So I would probably pick this one, 1 gallon equals 3.79 liters, just to grab one. So 3.79, and I'm going to set this up. So 3.79 liters is going to go in the denominator so that the liter unit will cancel, and that's equal to 1 gallon. As you can see here, if you multiply straight across, you have 8 times 1 is 8 in the numerator, and 1 times 3.79 in the denominator, and then we divide. And so if we divide those on our calculator, we take 8 divided by 3.79, and it comes out to 2.11, and then rounding to the nearest tenth. So that's like a quick refresher on that factor label system. And then one more example I want to go to is remembering conversions inside the metric system. Let's do this number 13. So in number 13, we have kilograms to milligrams measurement. So this is what we're going from, and this is what we're going to. And if you recall, it goes kilo, hecto, deca, and then base. So in this case, it would be gram, and then deci, centi, and milli. So we're starting at kilo, and we want to get to milli. And so we count how many places that would be. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You do count grams because that's one of the, it's like a place value. And so taking 0.4632 kilograms, we need to take the decimal in the direction that we're sliding it on this system we've created here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Any missing spaces we fill in just like place value. And so that's why our result is 463,200 milligrams. It makes sense because kilogram is a much larger unit. It would contain a lot of milligrams. So that's a very sensible result.